You walked into your living room this morning and felt that bite in the air before your feet even touched the floor. You glanced at the thermostat. You sighed. You bumped it up $2, and you already knew what that was going to cost you by the end of the month. Now picture a house in Lancaster County where nobody touched a thermostat this morning, because there isn't one. Not because they're suffering, because they don't need one. The Amish have heated their homes since 1736, and they've never paid 1 cent to a utility company. The system they use costs about $300 to set up in a house that already exists. Same 72-year-old in the room, $0 on the meter. And the reason you've never heard about it isn't because it's complicated. It's because the American Gas Association has spent 100 years making sure you wouldn't hear it. The first time I walked into one of these homes outside Millersburg, Ohio, I spent 20 minutes looking around for a vent. I never found one. There was no vent, no furnace grate, no baseboard, just one warm wall. And that wall was still 72 degrees at 4 in the morning. I'm going to walk you through exactly what I found, including a specific technique documented in a Penn State Extension report that you can install this weekend in a house built before 1980. You don't need permits. You don't need a contractor. You don't need to start over. You just need to know what they know. Before this video ends, you'll know the name of the company that buried this, and you'll know exactly what to build in your living room this weekend for under $300. Let me start with the lie. Because before we get to the truth, you need to understand how thoroughly you've been deceived. Back in 2008, a company called Heat Surge began running 2-page ads in newspapers across America selling something they called the Amish Miracle Heater. The ad showed a wooden mantle, a flickering fake fire, and a promise. They told you the Amish had built this heater. They told you it was a secret. They told you it would heat your home for pennies, and they charged you $385 for it, plus $50 shipping, plus $28 for an extended warranty. I know this because I almost bought one. My wife showed me the ad in the Sunday paper back in 2009 and said it sounded too good to be true. She was right. The heater inside that pretty wooden box was a standard 1500W electric coil heater you could buy at Walmart for $27. It was made in China. It had nothing to do with the Amish, not the design, not the manufacturing, not the philosophy. The Amish men I've spoken with in Holmes County either roll their eyes when you mention it or laugh out loud. One older fellow in a black hat told me in his slow, careful way that the only Amish thing about that heater was the word printed on the box. But here's what I want you to understand. That scam worked on hundreds of thousands of Americans. It worked because people sensed something true underneath the lie. They sensed that the Amish actually do know something about heating a house that the rest of us have forgotten. And they were willing to pay almost $400 to get even a counterfeit version of it. Imagine what they would have paid for the real thing. The real thing is what I'm going to give you now. And it doesn't cost $385. It costs almost nothing because most of it uses materials and surfaces you already have in your house. It just requires you to think about heat the way the Amish think about heat, which is the opposite of how you've been trained to think about it. You've been trained to think of heat as something you generate, something you turn on, something you produce by burning fuel or running current. That's why your bill is so high. You're paying to manufacture warmth from scratch, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every single winter of your life. The Amish don't generate heat. They capture it, store it, and release it slowly. That's the entire secret in one sentence. And once you understand that one shift, everything else falls into place. Now, I want to take you back to a date that almost nobody talks about. November 19th, 1979. President Jimmy Carter stood on the south lawn of the White House and dedicated the rooftop solar water heating panels he had just installed on the executive residence. In the speech that day, Carter said something that the energy industry never forgave him for. He said that a generation from now, the solar heater behind me will either be a curiosity or it will be a small part of one of the greatest and most exciting adventures ever undertaken by the American people. 7 years later, in 1986, those panels were quietly removed. The contractor who took them down stored them in a government warehouse in Virginia. But here's what almost nobody knows. Facing windows completely uncovered between sunrise and sunset every day from October through March. Pull the curtains all the way open. Move the couch out of the way. Let the sunlight pour into that room. Second, you're going to add thermal mass directly in the path of that sunlight. This is the part that costs you under $300. Go to a landscape supply yard and buy enough dark-colored stone or brick to fill a section of the floor right where the sunlight lands. Slate tiles work beautifully. Dark ceramic tile works. Even a row of 5-gallon buckets painted flat black and filled with water lined up against the inside wall where the sun hits will absorb and store an enormous amount of heat. The Amish use water in particular because water has the highest thermal storage capacity of any common material, about 4 times the storage capacity of concrete by volume. Third, when the sun goes down, you close insulated curtains over those same windows. Heavy thermal curtains, the kind that cost about $30 a panel, will trap the heat that the thermal mass is now releasing back into the room all night long. The mass radiates warmth slowly until about 4 in the morning, by which time the outdoor temperature is starting to climb again. I did this in my own house in 2017. I installed slate tiles along the south wall of my living room, where the afternoon sun streams in through 3 windows. I added 2 black-painted 15-gallon water containers behind a piece of furniture completely out of sight. I hung thermal curtains. Total cost was $283. My heating bill that winter dropped by 31%. The next winter, after I added the same setup to one bedroom, it dropped another 9%, 40% total, just like the Penn State research said it would. You don't need a new house. You need to use the south side of the house you already own. Now, there's one more piece I haven't told you about, and this is the piece that almost no one outside of the most traditional Amish communities knows about. This is the piece I want you to remember when you finish this video tonight. Everything I've shown you so far is documented. You can find passive solar heating in any Penn State Extension publication. You can find thermal mass principles in University of Arizona research. You can find masonry heater designs in books from the 1980s. None of it is technically secret. But there is one technique that the Amish used which has never made it into any mainstream guide. I had to find it the hard way by sitting at a kitchen table in Holmes County in February of 2018, drinking coffee, with an older Amish gentleman named Jonas, who was 81 years old at the time. He had been heating his farmhouse the same way his grandfather had heated it. And his grandfather had learned it from a German immigrant named Hinrich Müller, who arrived in Lancaster County in 1736. Jonas called it the Stube Wall. Stube is the old Pennsylvania Dutch word for the heated front room of a traditional German farmhouse. The Stube Wall is a specific way of building or modifying an interior wall to act as a massive heat battery charged not by sunlight, but by a single, small fire built only once per day. Here is how it works. You take an interior wall of your house, ideally one that runs through the middle of your home, separating the living room from another room. You attach a thin layer of dense material to that wall. The Amish traditionally use hand-mixed clay plaster about an inch thick, applied directly over the existing wall. The clay is mixed with sand, straw, and a natural fiber binder. Though today you can substitute modern lime plaster or stone veneer from any hardware store, which is what I recommend. The total weight of the added material should be about 30 to 40 lb per square foot of wall surface. Now, here's the part that nobody tells you. You then place a small wood stove or even a heavy cast iron pot of hot coals directly against the bottom of that wall for about 90 minutes, once per day in the morning. The wall absorbs the heat. The dense plaster stores it. And because the wall is interior, meaning both sides face into your living space, every single calorie of that heat is released back into your home over the next 22 hours. The Stube Wall, properly built, will hold a steady 70 on both sides for an entire day on about 3 lb of firewood. 3 lb, that's 1 log. 1 log per day to heat the main living space of your home. Jonas's farmhouse, 2 stories, 400 square FT, used about 2 cords of firewood total per winter. The average American home with a conventional furnace uses the energy equivalent of 15 to 20 cords per winter. The Stube Wall is roughly 8 times more efficient than what you have right now. I asked Jonas why nobody knew about this. He looked at me for a long moment and said in his careful, slow English, "Because the people who would have written it down stopped writing things down a long time ago. The Amish keep this knowledge alive only by doing it. There is no manual. There is no extension publication. There is no university study. There is only the wall and the fire and the grandfather teaching the grandson." The German immigrant who brought this technique to Pennsylvania in 1736 came from the Black Forest region, where his family had built stube walls in their farmhouses since at least the 1500s. The technique is over 500 years old. It survived the Reformation, 2 world wars, and the entire Industrial Revolution. It survived because a few thousand Amish farmers in eastern Pennsylvania kept building it into their homes generation after generation while the rest of the world forgot. You can build a stube wall in your existing home in a single weekend. The materials cost less than $200 if you use modern stone veneer and thin set mortar from any hardware store. You don't need a permit because you're modifying an interior wall. You don't need a contractor because the technique is genuinely simple. You just need to know it exists. And now you do. What was taken from you wasn't just the heat. It was the knowledge that you could provide it for yourself. 300 years of accumulated wisdom about how to live in a house properly without sending a check to a utility company every single month. That knowledge was never destroyed. It was just buried under decades of advertising for furnaces, heat pumps, and miracle heaters that turned out to be $27 coil units in a wooden box. The Amish never burned that knowledge. They just kept it in their kitchens and their walls, in the way their grandfathers built their houses. And tonight, you have it back. If you are the kind of person who believes that real knowledge has been quietly pushed aside to protect someone else's profit, you already know what to do next. You already know that the people who got rich teaching you to depend on them are not going to be the ones who teach you how to stop. Now, I want you to do something specific in the comments below. Type 1 if you're trying the south-facing windows this weekend. Type 2 if you're going for the Stube Wall. I read every comment. If you have south-facing windows that you've been covering with heavy curtains for the last 20 years, just say so. If you've already got a stone fireplace on an interior wall, and you're realizing right now that you've been sitting on a Stube Wall this whole time without knowing it, say that too. The comment section is where this community talks to each other, and the people who learn the most are the ones who participate. If this video gave you something real, and I mean something you can actually use, not just something that sounded interesting, then subscribe. Not as a favor to me, as a way of joining a group of people who are systematically recovering the knowledge that was taken from us. Every week, I'm going to bring you another piece of what the Amish know that nobody else is telling you. The next video is already in production. It's about a German wood stove designed in 1789 that burns once per day, uses one armful of wood, and heats a 1400 SQFT home for 24 hours straight. It's been declared illegal in 37 states because it doesn't meet modern emission standards, even though it produces less smoke than a campfire. The Amish in 3 counties still build it. I'm going to show you exactly how it works and exactly how to assemble one in your own backyard for under $50 in materials. You found this video for a reason. Most people will scroll past this and go back to paying their bills the way they always have. You're not most people. You watch this all the way to the end because something inside you already knew that the way we've been doing things doesn't make sense. Trust that instinct. The Amish have trusted it for 300 years and they've never paid a heating bill once. Neither did your great-grandfather. Neither do you have to. Turn off the video. Walk through your house. Find your south-facing windows, open the curtains. The sun is going to come up tomorrow morning whether you collect it or not. While those panels were being stripped off the White House roof, the Amish were already using a more sophisticated version of the same principle in their farmhouses in Pennsylvania. They had been using it since the 1700s. They never called it passive solar heating. They just called it building a house properly. The principle is so simple it almost feels like cheating. The sun rises in the east, arcs across the southern sky in winter, and sets in the west. In the northern hemisphere, the south-facing side of any building receives between 4 and 6 times more solar radiation in winter than the north-facing side. If you orient your living spaces to the south, and you give them a way to absorb that radiation during the day and release it slowly at night, the sun heats your house for free. The Amish have known this since the first Anabaptist settlers built their homes in Berks County in the 1730s. Penn State University's College of Agricultural Sciences confirmed in their extension publications that orienting living spaces to the south and adding what they call thermal mass to absorb solar radiation reduces the heating load of an average American home by 30 to 40% before any other modification. 30 to 40%. That's not a little improvement. That's nearly half your heating bill gone just from how the sunlight enters your house and what it lands on. So what is thermal mass? Thermal mass is any dense material that absorbs heat slowly and releases it slowly. Stone, brick, concrete, adobe, water. The Amish farmhouses I visited in Lancaster County all had 2 things in common. They had large south-facing windows in the rooms where the family spent most of their time. And they had heavy materials inside those rooms. Stone fireplaces, brick chimneys running through the center of the house, thick plaster walls, sometimes even a water tank in the basement directly beneath the south-facing room. Sunlight would pour through those windows from about 10 Howard in the morning until 2 Howard in the afternoon, hit the dark stone of the fireplace and the heavy plaster of the walls, and that heat would slowly radiate back out into the room for the next 12 to 16 hours. By the time the sun came up the next morning, the stone was just starting to cool down and the cycle began again. This is not theory, this is documented building physics. The University of Arizona ran a study on adobe walls in the 1990s and found that an 18-in adobe wall delays heat transfer by 8 to 12 hours, meaning the warmth absorbed during the day is released exactly when you need it at night. No mechanical system, no electricity, no fuel, just physics doing what physics has always done. But here's where the story gets darker. Because if this works so well, why doesn't every American home use it? Now, I want you to ask yourself a question. If passive solar heating cuts your bill by 40%, and the principle has been understood for almost 300 years, and the materials cost almost nothing, why isn't every house in America built this way? Why isn't it in the building manual? Why didn't the contractor who built your subdivision orient the houses to the south? I'll tell you why. Because nobody makes money when your house heats itself. In 1925, the American Gas Association was formed by a group of regional gas utility companies who realized that they needed a unified body to promote gas appliances and influence building standards. By 1936, that organization was funding research grants, lobbying state legislatures, and providing technical advice to the committees that wrote residential construction guidelines. In the post-war housing boom of the 1950s, when 17 million American homes were built in less than 15 years, the standard practice became to orient houses based on street layout rather than solar exposure. Builders would put the prettiest face of the house toward the road, regardless of whether that face was north, east, south, or west. Half the homes built in that era, millions of them faced the wrong direction. That wasn't an accident. It was a feature, because if your house faces north, you'll need a furnace. And if you need a furnace, you'll need fuel. And if you need fuel, somebody is going to sell it to you every single month for the rest of your life. The Amish saw this coming. They saw it because they were watching from the outside as American society rushed toward the electrical grid in the 1920s and 1930s. The Amish bishops gathered in 1919 at what they called the Ordnung discussions and made a collective decision that connecting their homes to the public utility grid would create a dependency that would eventually destroy their communities. They weren't being backward. They were being strategic. They understood that once you plug into a system controlled by someone else, that someone else now controls your home. They had watched their English neighbors lose self-sufficiency one wire at a time. So while the rest of America was being wired into a system that would bill them every month for the next 100 years, the Amish were perfecting the systems that needed no bill at all. The wood-burning stove in the basement that vents warm air through floor grates into every room above. The masonry heater that holds heat from a single morning fire for 24 hours. The south-facing summer kitchen that becomes a heat collector in winter. The cast-iron cook stove that bakes bread, heats water, and warms the kitchen all at once. But here's what changes the entire equation. In some of the more progressive Amish communities in northern Indiana and central Ohio, they've actually adopted a hot water radiant floor system. They run hot water pipes underneath the wooden floors of the main rooms, sourced from an outdoor wood-fired boiler. The floor itself becomes the heater. There's no furnace inside the house, no vents blowing dust around, no cold spots near the windows, just a warm floor that your bare feet can stand on at 4 in the morning. The cost to install one of these systems in a new Amish home runs about $2,000 in materials and $0 in labor because the community builds it together over a weekend. The cost to install something equivalent in your home through a contractor would run between $15,000 and $25,000. Same physics, same materials, different price tag. The difference is the markup. Now, if you already own a house and you are thinking, this only applies to people building from scratch, stay with me, because this next part is specifically for you. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that's all wonderful for someone building a new home or for an Amish family who can lay out their farmhouse however they want. But your house was built in 1968, and it faces east, and you can't exactly rotate it on its foundation. I hear you. That's exactly where I was 8 years ago when I first started learning all this. My house in central Pennsylvania was built in 1972, and the previous owner had picked the lot because it had a nice view of the road, which meant my front door faced almost due north. So let me give you the technique that changed everything for me that you can install this weekend with materials that cost less than $300 total. Walk through your house and identify every south-facing window. Even if your front door faces north, I guarantee you have at least 2 or 3 windows somewhere on the south side of the house. A bedroom, a back door, a laundry room. It doesn't matter where they are. What matters is that the sun pours through them between 10 hours in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. Now here is what most homeowners do wrong. They cover those windows. They hang heavy curtains. They install blinds. They put furniture in front of them. They treat the south side of the house exactly like the north side, which means they block the only free heat source they have. Instead, you are going to do 3 things. First, you are going to leave those south.